this planet down before I spend another minute living among these animals.
What a surprise!
You will have moments of doubt, of fear, of uncertainty. But in those moments, have faith.
You're my greatest failure. I don't need everyone to love me. I don't need anyone.
Relax.
I don't need you!
We need to talk. You don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer.
Hello guys, I'm sorry for Cat back here once again. You saw the title of the video, Omni Man versus HomeLander. This has been a debate that's going on ever since The Boys came out in like what, 2020, and Invisible came out in 2021. Been a lot of back and forth, a lot of people discussing who's stronger than the other one, so on and so on. Even some people going as far as to say that Mark can compete with Superman when Superman has never struggled to fight in the sun. Never. What sense does that make? Mark has never pulled a planet. It took 3 venture mites to even blow up a planet. It's like, but Robert Kirkman, from that logic, I can write down a character today and say he's stronger than Mark just because. Stop the stupidity. You too old to be stupid. But let's back to the main point. Omni Man versus HomeLander. My biggest problem throughout all the death battles, throughout all the conversations about the HomeLander and the Hodgman's character is, the biggest reason why this fight can never have a proper conclusion is that the fact that Garth Ennis, is it Garth Ennis or like whoever created The Boys, right? I can't remember right now. I'm choking. I'm sorry about that. He never made it clear what was the upper limits of the HomeLander. He never did throughout the entirety of the comic books. But what about the TV show? TV show, I've already made a video about the whole TV show thing with The Boys and how it's done. Butcher had no plan to ever kill HomeLander because he don't even know how. Like, look, it's 2 different series. Watch my season 3 review on why it's stupid. But in the comic books, the HomeLander is undisputedly not what if or but. There's no questions about it. Every single suit we've seen fear HomeLander. Nobody can beat him, and I do mean nobody. He pressured, humiliated, and beat other people in submission throughout the entirety of the comic book. This is not a subject of what if or but. This is outright fact. The Boys had to take Compound V to take on low-level suits, like low-level suits like what's their name? One of the Teen Titan derivatives. Cause there was that. What? Cause Teen Wee was another like Teen Titan type group. There was another one. Teenage Kicks, bingo. Just to take on Teenage Kicks and some other low-life supervillains, superheroes. They had to, they had to take Compound V, which still didn't put Butcher anywhere close to the HomeLander. But he was able to take on a few G-men. They had to jump Stormfront. Stormfront is getting dog-walked by HomeLander. I'm sorry, that's not a subject of competition or whatever. But the Boys as a team cannot take on HomeLander. That's not a subject of maybe. It's a subject of fact. In the series, fact. The only contingency plan Von American had for the HomeLander was Black Noir. They could come up with no other solution. None. So every single suit we see in the comic book, from Stormfront, from Payback, from the other Teen Titan derivative that took off the Frenchie's arm and took on Kimiko, every single one of those are inferior to the HomeLander by default. A-Train, all of the 7 is inferior to the HomeLander by default. There's no contest about it. The G-Men as well, there's no context about it. There's no debate. There's nothing you can say about it. It's heavily implied that HomeLander is the, not a, not kinda, not sorta, not maybe, the strongest suit. And with that being said, we do not know its upper limits. The closest thing we ever get to knowing the limits of HomeLander is Butcher on a suicide run and Homelander getting his jaw knocked off by Black Noir, who was designed to defeat Homelander. But what about when the military shut up Black Noir and the Butcher ripped out his brains? Number one, Butcher was a soup. And second, by that time that happened, Black Noir was already dead. What do you mean by that? As far as you can tell, the Homelander has none, and I do mean no, super healing abilities where he can regenerate from that type of damage. Black Noir was more or less dead. But then again, he's not like the Homelander. Because even with the ammunition, right? That's not normal ammunition from the military. That is ammunition designed to kill soups. I wish I could say they were just walking up there with basic M16s and basic napalm and just whatever, just dropping like flies. No. And the display that is the push that Von American wanted to constantly have soups in the military. There's no way that's normal ammo. None. And even then, he got lit up. He was still alive. So and it's for a weaker Homelander that thought, well, as a child, maybe a hydrogen bomb could stop him. What do you mean, maybe? What you mean by maybe, sir? I thought it was guaranteed that he'd kill him. And that's a weaker Homelander than the one in the comic books. There is nothing, I repeat, nothing, as far as you could tell outside of Black Noir that could have stopped Homelander. Nothing. The greatest attempt that Butcher had was after Homelander was already dead. And that was making a suit bioweapon that was going to kill anybody with any trace of Compound V in their system. Rather second-hand or on purpose. So all those Compound V factory workers, dead. Prostitutes, dead. The innocent civilians in the lawsuit, dead. So when they say Butcher turned into a villain, like that TV stuff is a whole different thing. But what about Omni Man? We've seen feats from Omni Man. If Homelander was going against Guardians of the Globe, they would have died. Can we go the comic book? There is nothing that shows that Omni Man has done feats that Homelander potentially can't do. That's not a joke. I'm dead serious. So you want to go by the Amazon Prime example? He's weaker. He's getting easily stomped out by the Reaniman in certain scenes. I'm not saying they won, but it's just those are like base level Reaniman. That's not the reinforced or enhanced Reaniman that showed up with Darkwing. These are just some basic Reaniman. These are the invisible clone variants in Reaniman either. And he was getting overwhelmed. Not saying they won, but that would have never happened to comic book on Omni Man. Same thing with him getting beat up by the Guardians of the Globe to create some type of tension or drama for the show Omni Man to act like a man-child, because apparently someone thinks man-childs are pretty funny. I don't know who it is, but apparently somebody does. So it's just the TV show, but Omni Man was able to stand near a black hole. So I'm supposed to believe that Warrior Woman, Martian Man, Red Rush, and all these people, right, was able to fight the individual who can fly near a black hole with no default. And we go to another thing. Like, I don't think people really do a cape for Omni Man like they do Yujiro, but Yujiro is proven Omni Man is not even the strongest or even a top lieutenant worthy of his own species. What do you mean? His execution team were two nobodies. I'm not joking. They didn't send in Anissa. They didn't send in Conquest. They didn't send in General Craig. And they didn't send in Lucas either. His execution team were two nobody Viltrumites. That's not a joke. I'm dead. That happened in both comic book and TV show. Two basic nobodies. I'm not joking. These wasn't Thrag's top lieutenants. This wasn't Thrag himself saying, you know what? I gotta take you out. I'm not playing games. So if Omni Man, on which is why Nissa, when they jumped Craig and Thrag and them for unknown reasons, said that they didn't follow King Argyll because of his power. They followed him because of his wisdom. Omni Man is not that strong among his own. He's not. He's getting packed up by Nissa. He's getting thrown around by the fact that people think Conquest and Omni Man is a competition is sad. So Omni Man is not even a top Viltrumite of his own species. So overall, what is the conclusion to this whole debate? The fight is inconclusive. The fight is inconclusive based on not having enough information on the limits of the Homelander. I don't care whether people liked it or not. Even with Death Battle, they tried to throw in some TV show type feats, and with the TV show, Homelander is garbage. Queen Maeve's got obliterated like she was a clown against Homelander. Jack the Jupiter and many other people with invulnerability was afraid of Homelander. Why? Why? He could just turn invulnerable, right? Same thing with A-Train. Shouldn't A-Train be faster than Homelander? So if Homelander can dog walk A-Train, there is no way that Red Rush is doing any damage to this man. But we're not talking about the TV show. Let's go comic book, the comic book. The comic book inconclusive evidence. There is no black hole feat for Omni Man in the comic book. That's factual. So that's even more inconclusive for your fact. So you take that, what, season 1, 2, 3, Omni Man versus Homelander. I said that later series Omni Man is stronger than what we said at the beginning. That's undeniable. But if that's the conversation of current Omni Man in the media versus current Homelander, including comic books, the battle is inconclusive. Unless you can show me definitively the upper limits of the Homelander in the comic book, the discussion goes nowhere. There is no backbone. There is nothing to this. We'll just be arguing semantics all day. But of course, we all know people don't care about the facts or reasoning. It's about what makes me feel good. We all know how this goes. But overall, I had to get this out. I've been thinking about making a video for quite some time, but I swear, I've been away for, 366 days. I'm only able to come back for, 1 or 2 videos, Why did you do the Transformers? Say, look, man, I wasn't going to do it then. I never knew if I'm going to get the opportunity to do it later. But overall, seemingly so. I am back in the flesh, boys and girls. I'll give further updates in other videos. But until then, those are my overall thoughts about Homelander versus Omni Man. It's inconclusive. There's not enough evidence on Omni Man's side to definitively say early Omni Man can beat Homelander. There's none. But he got these strength feats. There's nothing he does that the Homelander hasn't did. Or possibly can do. So, unless you can show me some concrete facts, whether in Dear Becky or the creator comes back and say, well, these are the upper limits, there is nothing that they have shown that Homelander cannot do. Nothing. And even with the whole nuke feat, as Uncle Frem's Omni Man can take a nuke and survive. So, but the TV show got him hit by a laser. It is what it is. If you have WK, like to hear you guys' thoughts on the video. What do you guys thought? Do you think the debate is pretty much squashed to say Omni Man wins, or it's just inconclusive because there's not enough information, concrete information on the upper limits of the Homelander to say where it's like the battle is inconclusive as far as you know. Been MFWK. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.